सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणान् करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। चैतन्यं सर्वगं सर्वं सर्वभूतगुहाशयम् यत्सर्वविषयातीतं तस्मै सर्वविदे नमः। Continuing the review in the verse 26 of the Upodghata Prakranam, first chapter. Tari kosya mukhyartha iti. So what is the primary meaning of the Upanishad or Upanishad? Sadehe upanipurvasya kvipi chopanishad bhaved. Sadehe shadru means sat visharana gati avasadhaneshu. The root sat has these three meanings: Visharanam, Gati and Avasadhanam. The word Upanishad, in that all the three meanings are applicable. Tathahi yamanda brahmavidah tesham garva janma jaradikam upanishadayati shithili karoti. Visharanam, shithili karanam. So first of all, ये मंद ब्रह्मविद है, those who come in the beginning, who are manda brahmavida, who know Brahman also, but still indirectly, parokshataya, let us say, garbha janma jaradikam shithili karoti. This knowledge loosens the very bondage of the garbha, janma, jara, meaning the next birth of the body. Jignasu, who is a Jignasu? Upasamire nischayena brahma gamayati. So even if a person doesn't have that Jignasa, still listens to Upanishad and gains a general understanding of what Upanishad says, that I am already free, that mukti or moksha is my nature. The Atma is Brahman, that alone is Satyam, Jagat is Mithya, Upadi is Anatma. With all of this itself, that strong identification, the Upadi etc. becomes loose. And therefore, the whole process of being born again also becomes very loose if it doesn't get eliminated. When Jignasa arises, then that becomes destroyed And so, nischayena brahma gamayati. When jignasa arises, then takes place the knowledge that I am Brahma. And so, nischayena, in certain way, there is a conviction that I am Brahman, and that way he brings us this Upanishad, the knowledge brings us the Jignasu to his true nature, that is Brahman. And then when Tattva Jnanam takes place, Nishtha takes place, Tatvidam tu Garbhadi Nashayati eva. Ultimately, the Garbha means the next rebirth, etc., is completely destroyed. There is no rebirth at all. It is Tritiya. This is how this Tikakara explains. So what Upanishad is explained with reference to three adhikaris. One, who has Paroksha Jnanam, or a general understanding. Second one, who is Jignasa, therefore doing Shravanam, Manam, Nididhyasanam. As a result of which one is Brahmanistha, in which case he becomes completely liberated from the samsara. एवं सम्यक धात्वर्थ योगात विद्या एवं उपनिषद शब्दवाच्य. Therefore, the primary meaning of the Upanishad is Brahma Vidya. Tadarthyat, in this text also, which expounds Brahma Vidya in a secondary manner, is called also Upanishad. This is Upodghata Prakranam. Then Shankas are raised to gain further clarity about things. Nanu Vidyopadeshaya Vedanta Arambha. Vedanta, the Upanishad, Jnanakanda, commences for expounding Brahma Vidya, the identity of Brahman and Atma. Tada upadyate, this commencing of the identity of Brahma and Atma is justified only when Brahman is Atma. So, yadi vidyodaya sambhavyeta, this knowledge that Aham Brahmasmi is possible, then only the teaching or exposition has any purpose. But that's not so. If Atma was Brahman, and then when you teach that you are Brahman, then that knowledge can take place. But that's not so. That the samsara is mithya, there is no birth and death for Atma, all of this would, in fact, knowledge takes place if this was the reality. Yeah, Atmane samsaritva grahak, but then our pratyaksha, the experience is that I am a samsari. I was born, I am growing, I will die. This is my pratyaksha, direct experience. Jagat is a tangible reality, is real. So, pratyaksha pramana, meaning that our direct experience seems to reveal that Jagat is Satyam, that I am limited, samsara is real. That's the pratyaksha jnana. Whereas the Shruti is a Shabda pramana. Shabda can generate knowledge only based on pratyaksha. Somebody describes to me some person, some place, some situation which I have not witnessed myself, then knowledge can take place as a result of listening to that. But that Shabda Pramanam can create in me knowledge based on pratyaksha. Person is described, then I have seen a person, based on that I can visualize what that other person will be. A place is described, a building is described, some things are described. Even the Leelas of Lord are described. All of that will be able to create knowledge in me based on what I already know with pratyaksha. Meaning that knowledge that Shabda can generate is only based on pratyaksha. So pratyaksha is the primary means of knowledge. And other pramana, inference, etc., they are all dependent upon pratyaksha. Therefore, they have a lower place. So if pratyaksha, direct experience is that I am not Brahman, and then Shruti says you are Brahman, how is it going to work? Because it's a durbala pramana. Pratyaksha is prabala pramanam, other pramana durbala pramanam. So the first verse said, Pratisheddum ashakyatva. How does Shruti function? How does Shabda Pramanam function? Shabda reveals the meaning of what it stands for. So that is the usual manner in which Shabda or a word or a statement creates knowledge in us by giving Paroksha Jnanam, by giving the indirect knowledge. If Brahman were the meaning of a word, then whatever Shabda can give will be only a limited thing, because a word only stands for something that is limited. But Shruti does not expound Brahman by revealing the nature of Brahman. Pratisheddum ashakyatvat neti neti visheshitam. Here, Shruti does not claim to reveal Brahman to us. Shruti only removes the Brahma or the false knowledge from us. The true knowledge of Brahman is separated from me by false knowledge of Brahman. Brahman does not need to reveal by word, Shabda. Brahman is a self, self-shining, already revealed, already experienced, about which false notions are being entertained, and therefore all that Shruti has to do is to make me see that my present conclusions about myself are false, and thus enable me to drop them. Pratisheddum ashakyatvat neti neti sheshitam. So neti neti mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. In this manner, neti neti, what I am not, these false notions are only negated. Sheshitam. Ultimately, it comes to a point where no further negation can take place. When all false notions are negated, idam naham iti. Manah I am not, buddhi I am not, chittam I am not, ahankara I am not, jnanendriyani, karma I am not. In this manner, sheshitam, what cannot be negated, which is self-existing, self-shining, what is not self-existing, what is not self-shining alone can be negated. What is mithya alone can be negated. What is self-existing, self-shining, satyam cannot be negated. And that happens to my own nature. Therefore, the negator cannot negate his own self. So, sheshitam. So, as a process of negation, what remains is myself. That's how Brahman is taught. When Upanishad says you are Brahman, by that it is said that you are, whatever else you think about yourself is that you are not. Brahman you are. You think that you are a body, you are sense organs, you are mind, you are short, you are long. You are not. So Shruti has a unique method. It is called Shabda Pramanam, all right. But it's not Pramanam in a conventional manner. Shabda normally is called a Pramanam by revealing its object. Here Shabda is not Pramanam by revealing its object. Shabda is Pramanam by negating the false notion about the object. Because object does not need to reveal that. Object is self-revealing. So Shabda can give rise to Paroksha Jnanam always by revealing what cannot reveal itself. But here Shabda only reveals what is already revealed, meaning that Shabda only removes ignorance or false notion. What is revealed, what is already experienced. And therefore, Upanishad functions in a different way from the normal Shabda. It's called Shabda Pramanam, all right. But Shabda is not Pramanam by way of revealing, by way of Vachyartha. Shabda reveals its meaning by Vachyartha. Not by Vachyartha, that Shabda reveals that you are Brahman, by Lakshyartha. By the process of negation. Nanu aham brahmeti jnanam ukta vidhaya utpannamapi. All right. Ukta vidhaya, by the manner in which you describe, aham brahmeti jnanam utpannamapi. That by sheshitam, what cannot be further reduced, cannot be negated as avadhi of negation. You see yourself, you are seeing yourself all right. Except in seeing myself, the anatma also is mixed up when that is negated. Then I see myself as I am. Utpannavidna pratishtham labhate. But that knowledge cannot be settled knowledge, cannot be an abiding knowledge, cannot be a effortless knowledge. Why? Dehendriyadi abhimanasya anavaratam anuvrittehe. Because constantly dehoham, indriyamaham, manaham, buddhiham, purushoham, striham. This constantly reveals itself. Anavaratam, tasya anavaratam anuvrittehe. So this also is constantly going on. Even if aham brahmasmi, the knowledge that has taken place, that dehoham, manusyoham, this also is constantly going on. Tasya pramanamurtu abhavat, so iti ashankya. How the aham brahmasmi, how can that become my knowledge? When the contrary knowledge, dehoham, constantly arises. If I am making an effort to say that I am a body, I am the body, it involves an effort, dehoham, brahmanoham, etc., then I will not make that effort. In that case, aham brahmasmi will become the abiding knowledge. But just as Brahman is self-revealing, therefore aham brahmasmi knowledge can occur. So also dehoham knowledge also takes place on its own. I don't do it. You follow? So even when a knowledge takes place, I am Brahman. This knowledge that I am the body will keep on taking place anyway. Therefore, how can that knowledge, aham Brahman, how can that become settled? Iti ashankya. Tasya pramanamulatva abhavat. This knowledge, dehoham, manusyaham, is not based on pramanam, is not based on valid means of knowledge. It is not knowledge. It is notion. It is Brahma and not knowledge. Therefore, aham brahmasmi is knowledge in as much as it is based on the nature of the true nature of the self. Whereas dehoham is a Brahma, is a delusion based on ignorance. And therefore, it is not Prama, it is Brahma. So one is Prama, other is Brahma. Therefore, they do not enjoy the same degree of importance. Brahma cannot remain in the face of Prama. That this is a snake cannot remain in the face of knowledge that this is rope. Tasya pramanamatva bhavat dehoham. This notion is no pramanam. It is not based on valid means of knowledge that I have experienced that I have seen Deha and Atma together in the same location, and then I am declaring that I am Deha. is not based on that pramanam or valid means of knowledge, taken for granted, dehoham. Tasya pramanamulitva abhavat. The dehoham knowledge is not based on pramanam, not based on the valid means of knowledge. Therefore, bhajita anuvritti matrasya avasatvat is only habitual nritti. Its avasa is Brahma and not Pramana. So habitually that notion may arise, Manusyoham, Dehoham. It doesn't enjoy the same degree of strength as Brahmaham. And therefore, na vidya pratipakshatam, it cannot negate Brahmasmi. This notion, Dehoham, cannot negate Aham Brahmasmi. Because one is Brahma, other is Prama, and Brahma cannot negate. So even when this notion arises in me, that Dehoham, I will not give it reality because I know that I am Brahma. I know that Dehoham is Brahma and not Prama because I know that I am Brahman. That I am Brahman is based on the Pramanam, based on my immediate experience. Whereas Dehoham I know is Brahma also. So whenever this notion arises Dehoham, I will not give it reality because I know it's Abhasa. And therefore, Daurvalyam Aham Dehi. So, Aham Dehi Idam Atmotha Vacharamana Gochara. Idam Atma, not Aham Atma. So, body etc. Idam. And that is taken to be Atma. From that the Dehoham Buddhi is arising. Therefore, it is not Prama. It is not Pramanaganya Vacharamana Gochara. It is no reality. This Dehoham is no reality at all, other than this notion I am the body. Dehoham does not have reality more than the word or expression Dehoham. There is no such thing as Dehoham. Deha is there, Aham is there, but Dehoham doesn't exist. Therefore, what's the reality of that knowledge? Only the sentence Dehoham. There is no content in that. Vacharamana gochara. Nisiddhatmod bhavatvatsa. It is born of Deha. Dehoham is Deha is Atma. But already it has been negated. Upanishad said that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the sense organs. So Deha is already negated as Atma. I know Deha as an Atma. And so this vritti Dehoham is, I know it is wrong, I know it is only mithya, just an appearance. Now punha, therefore in my mind, this vritti Dehoham will never gain reality, I will never give reality to that. I know Brahmaham, I am Brahman, I know that is the reality. I know Deha is an Atma. Therefore, this notion, Dehoham, also is not a reality, it is merely a notion. So, even if it arises, I will not give reality to that. Brahmayavaham, when arises, I know that is really my nature. Dehoham is not reality. And therefore, Napuna, in my mind, Dehoham will never gain the reality. Meaning, Dehoham will never be able to negate Brahmayavaham. In my own mind, I know Deha as an Atma, Dehoham as a notion, as mithya, and therefore Vacharam is mithya, and therefore it cannot displace, cannot negate Aham Brahmasmi, which is reality for my own self. Then Paurvaparye, Purva Daurvalyam, Prakritivat. Anyway, the thing is, another reason also is being told as to why Dehoham cannot be as strong as Brahmaham. Dehoham is the existing notion right now. Like this is a snake, So Ayam Sarpaha is existing notion. And then by really inquiring about what that is, that this is Iyam Rajju, this knowledge takes place. So first is Sarva Buddhi. It is then replaced by Rajju Buddhi by recognition that Sarva is a Brahma and Rajju is reality. Therefore, Prathama Utpanna Buddhi is Brahma. I am Sarpa. Uttarena, the later Utpanna Buddhi of knowledge is Yam Rajjuhu, this is a rope. So the thing is, first of all, one is Satyam, other is Mithya. Mithya cannot negate the Satyam that was being said earlier. Now it says that what has already occurred cannot negate what comes later. What comes later is stronger than what was before. Because what comes later is the knowledge of the reality, namely Rope. What took place earlier was Brahma, namely Sarpa. So here it is the Prathama and Dvitiya. So earlier it was Satyam and Mithya. That Dehoham is Mithya, therefore it cannot negate Brahmaham, which is Satyam. Here another way it is said that Purubuddhim abaditva nottara jayate matihi. In this case, Purubuddhim abaditva, just as this is a snake, that is a Purubuddhi. Abaditva, without negating that, Uttara matihi na jayate, this is a rope. That mati of the knowledge cannot take place without falsifying the earlier conclusion that this is a snake. So formally the conclusion was this is a snake. Then this is the rope cannot take place without falsifying the conclusion this is a snake. It's not second knowledge. The knowledge taking place later is a knowledge that falsifies the knowledge that took place earlier. You understand? Because two contrary knowledges cannot take place about the same entity. One entity which was formerly thought to be a snake, the same entity now is recognized as rope. So this recognition that this is a rope, that knowledge cannot take place without falsifying the previous one. So, this snake also and rope also cannot be. Knowledge, this is a rope, cannot take place without falsifying the earlier one, this is a snake. So what occurred earlier cannot negate what occurs later. What occurred earlier, this is a snake, is mithya. And what occurs later, this rope, is negating that. Therefore, the second is stronger, what follows is stronger than what preceded. This is the reasoning here. What precedes and what follows. What precedes, this is a snake. What follows, this is a rope. That this is a rope, that knowledge cannot take place without falsifying the earlier notion, this is a snake. Therefore, the false knowledge naturally is weaker than the true knowledge. So, Purubuddhim abaditva na uttara matihi jayate. Abaditva, without negating, without falsifying. Purubuddhim, the earlier buddhi, dehoham. Uttara matihi, aham brahmasmi. It cannot arise without falsifying dehoham. If aham brahmasmi is independent of dehoham, so dehoham also remains and brahmevaham also remains, then you cannot say that the knowledge has removed the earlier one. What are we talking about? We are talking about the knowledge here which is that which falsifies the previous knowledge. Therefore, the falsified knowledge cannot falsify the true knowledge. Drushirekah swayam siddha phalatvat sanabadhyate. Drushirekah. And so Brahmatmatkara antahkarana vritti pratifalita. So the thing is that Atma is called Drushihi. Brahman is called Drushihi. Consciousness is called Drushihi. Ekah, there is one, Swayam Siddha, self-existing, self-shining. Paratvat. So what, this cannot, how come the second also can be negated? Suppose the second knowledge has negated the first knowledge. A third knowledge can negate the second knowledge also, is it not so? If the later knowledge negates the first knowledge, why not a third knowledge negate the second knowledge? Same rule can apply. So, Aham Brahmasmi negates this earlier knowledge, Dehoham. Now, third knowledge can take place about Aham, which can negate Aham Brahmasmi also, is it not so? No, it cannot be. Why not? Swayam Siddha Drushihi Ekah Swayam Siddha. What's the knowledge? Drushihi, consciousness I am. Swayam Siddha, self-existing I am, self-sustaining I am, self-revealing I am. So this, what is self-existing, self-shining cannot be negated. What can be negated is dependent upon something else. Dehoham, it depended upon this deha, identification with deha. And so Dehoham is all the time. See, Dehoham is negated by Indriyani anyway. And so Indriyani is negated by Manahaham. So this knowledge is constantly being negated anyway. Therefore, it is not because now it is snake. Oh, this looks like a garland. No, it's a stick. It's a streak of water. There were different notions keep on arising about that until you come to the knowledge that this is rope, which is self-existing entity, a real entity, and therefore no other knowledge can negate that. It is not the rule that the first knowledge can always be negated. What is mithya is negated by satyam. Or what can be negated? What is not self-existing can be negated. What is mithya? Which is not self-existing. Like for example, that this is a pot. So pot is not self-existing entity. Pot has dependent existence depending upon clay. So similarly also, dehoham, manaham, buddhiham, none of these are self-shining, not self-existing, not self-revealing. Therefore, one can negate the other. But Aham Brahmasmi, consciousness I am, the drushi, the consciousness is self-existing, self-shining, non-negatable. Therefore, a subsequent knowledge cannot take place to negate this knowledge. You can say that what follows is stronger than what preceded. You can always argue that a third thing can take place after Brahmasmi also. It cannot take place because Brahma is Drushihi, Swayam Siddha, Ekah. There is no second thing to negate. There is no real thing to negate. Phalatvat nasabhadyate is the phalam. Phalam can also be the ultimate result. The ultimate result, that being the case, there is no further result which can come after that which can negate it. So nitya siddhisavi asya phalatvam. So it is called phalam. Vishayakar vritti vyaktatva apeksha. What is reflected is called phalam, reflection. Meaning the drushi is reflected in this knowledge, aham brahmasmi. In that sense, it is drushi is called phalam. But it is not phalam in the sense of reflection, etc. So this being the case, this knowledge that Aham Brahma is non-negatable, meaning it cannot be negated or improved by the subsequent knowledge. Whereas Dehoham is one that is negated by what follows, namely Aham Brahmasmi. एवं ब्रह्मात्म ज्ञानस्य वाक्याद अनुत्पत्ति शंकाम. So first shanka was that this knowledge cannot take place because Atma is not Brahman. So how can knowledge take place? Atma is Brahman. It was shown that Shruti is the ultimate Pramanam. Pratyaksha is not Prabal Pramanam here. Here Shruti is the Pramanam. Because Pratyaksha reveals something which is only a result of this knowledge of sense organs. Pratyaksha functions realm of Mithya, where Shruti reveals something that is real. It is my own nature, and therefore knowledge can take place. Utpannasya prabalya upadayena purva pratyakshadibhi bhadyastha shankam tunmatya. That Aham Brahmasmi, when knowledge has taken place, and subsequently, even if that Dehoham Vritti arises, it is known to be false, therefore it cannot negate Aham Brahmasmi. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi would be abiding knowledge. So that way, the knowledge takes place, and this is the nature of knowledge. Idanam katham utpadyate? How does this knowledge take place? Shrauta Dushtantanu, therefore Dushtanta of Shruti is given. Idam vanam atikramya shokamohadi dushitam vanad gandharako yadvat svatmanam padipadyate. Idam vanam atikramya. Idam sharirameo vanam, vanamiv vanam. This upadhi, the body, mind, sense complex is like a forest. Vanameva is not forest, like forest. Why? In forest, ragadvesha, shokamohadivi, vyagra, taskaradi, sthaniyai, dushitam. The forest is infested by these animals, like vyagra. And so in forest, all wild animals can be there. Or taskara, thieves, etc. Bandits can be there, they can rob you. So forest is infested by all these enemies, inimical forces. Similarly, is not body, but the identification of the body. Body is not really a forest, but Dehoham, I am the body, that is called samsara. In moment this Dehoham, this vritti arises, ragadvesha are going to arise. Ragadvesha, shokamohari. And ragadvesha causes shoka. Ultimately, attachment, aversion, I may do whatever all impulses, leaves me ultimately grieving, sad. And the sadness again leaves my mind and I can't make right decisions, etc. So this is samsara. Shoka vyagrataskaradevi dushitam. So this life is like being left alone in a forest, where there is the forest that aham dehoham, I am the body. And this samsara, this forest of dehata buddhi, is infested by these wild animals, ragadveshas, other inimical forces like ragadvesha, like the thieves, etc., bandits. And so, what is the Shrautam Yatha Gandharako Gandhardeshavasi Purusha Badhu Chakshure Baddha Chakshureva. Like this man from the country of Gandhara, the thieves covered his eyes with bent, tied his hands, left him in a forest alone. Taskari Aniya Mahavane Nikshipta, the fellow is left alone, lonely, in a dense forest. Sabandha Mokshati Tatra Akrosham Kurvan. Naturally, He is grieving, suffering, he is lonely, he is bound, he cannot see, he is lost, he doesn't know what will happen. And he hears all these roars of the wild animals and therefore he is absolutely scared. Bandhamo, he wants to become liberated, wants to leave this place, wants to go home. So that is how the mumuksha must take place, In one's life, one must recognize that I am in a forest, that I am surrounded by all these animals and all is infested by this. This is my life. I cannot continue this life anymore. I want to be liberated from this. So therefore, the bandha moksharthi, the one who wants to be liberated from this bondage, so they recognize all the tortures which this samsara, dehoham, dehata buddhi is creating for me. That's all that creates all the torture. Then everything also becomes torturous, of course. So, as long as I think that torture in my life is created by other things, so long I always strive to change that. When I recognize that the real torture comes from this ignorance and aham, dehoham, that ahankara, mamakara creates all ragadvesas, all reactions and all, ultimately sadness and depression. And from there I want to be liberated. Bandha moksha, tatra akrosham kurvan, and that is why you pray to the Lord, He Govinda, He Gopala, etc. Kenachit karoken upalabdha, and Ishvara sends some compassionate person in my life. Upalabdha, tena mochita bandha, with all compassion, he releases me from the bondage. Dashita swadesha marga. So first bondage is all this viveka, vairagya, all this takes place. The viveka is given to me, what is the real problem in my life? And so vairagya arises, what it is that I must, this clarity comes. Then alone my mission becomes clear. Otherwise my mind keeps on going here and there and all sorts of things. I look upon them as problems and I try to always resolve them. Life becomes a series of problems only. Ignorance is problem. Ahankara, mamakara is the problem. Ragadvesha is the problem. This must become clear to me. As long as it is not clear, so I will keep on always like Don Quixote fighting in the air all the time. So then, Mochita Darshita Swama Deshmarga. One is shown what is the real path for going home. Because moksha, what is moksha? Gramat, gramam pruchan. So there is a journey from the forest to home. There is no journey of that time involving space and time. Journey from ignorance to knowledge. Pandito medhavi vanaswadesham pratipadyate. Pandit must be there. Meaning the ability to reason out must be there. To recognize the validity of one's own position, recognize also the defect in the position of the opponents, etc. So this logical thing must be there. And whatever other requirements are there to study the scriptures. You don't have to be Pandita, etc. in that sense, but enough thing in order so that I can understand what is being taught to me. I am a samsari, avidya ragadi taskarahi, mithya jnana patena, viveka dushtim achadya. This poor samsari, avidya ragadi taskarahi, avidya, kama, karma, raga, dvesha, they are all taskaras, they are all thieves. They rob me of all my peace of mind and all the viveka. So indriyani manobuddhi asyadhisthana muchyate etar vimohatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. This raga, dvesha, taskara is there, indriya, manaha, buddhi, everywhere it is there. Viveka dushtim achadya. My viveka, my sense of discernment, my sense of clear understanding itself is clouded. Swadeshadyahāranyam praveshitah, from his true nature of Brahman, has been now brought and thrown into Dehoham. That's called Aranya of the Deha. Bandha moksharthi. Then, when problem becomes clear that the really what I need to become free from is Dehoham, that is the real bondage. And that has created all the secondary problems or Ragadvesha, etc. If what I want to become free from becomes clear, then only my journey becomes clear. Kadachit kenajit karvachan brahmavidar tyaya mithya dushtipatah. The Acharya makes this person give up the mithya dushti. Pratibodha swadesha brahma margaha. His true nature is revealed to him. Anvaya vyatireka. And then what is being taught also through mananam, he becomes clear and becomes his own knowledge. Svatmanam adhikachyati. So knowledge does take place. How can knowledge take place? All those questions were answered, resolved. And now how the knowledge takes place also is being revealed here. So Atma Jnana Utpatti Prakaranam. Atma Jnana Utpatti takes place. Then comes the Ishvaratma Prakaranam. Ishvara is Atma. Brahman or Ishvara is Brahman. And that is Atma, not different from me. Yayam Brahma Vidya Pratipadita Tasyam Prakashamanam Brahma Kim Pratyekatmano Bhedena Pratyetavyam Tadabhedena Vayati. Now we take the Upanishad Pramanam. The text now is presented to us as Pramanam. In the Upanishad itself we find different kinds of statements. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya. These two birds on the self same tree seem to suggest that Jiva is one bird, Ishvara is another bird, and therefore Ishvara is different from Jiva. That is what that passage seems to suggest. Ayam Atma Brahma, this Atma is Brahma, which clearly says that Atma is Brahman, so shows the identity of Atma and Brahman. So both these kinds of statements are found in the Upanishads. So that is why, what is it the Upanishad is teaching anyway? What is Tatparya? Tatparya Nirnaya has to be done. Is Upanishad teaching the duality of Atma and Brahma as some statements suggest? Or is the Upanishad teaching the identity of Atma and Brahma as some other statements suggest? Sandehe, this is Mananam. Brahma Sutra's subject matter is Sandehe. So there are statements of Upanishad which create doubt because they are available for being interpreted in two opposite ways. Tatparya can be that Brahman is different from Atma. Tatparya also can be that Brahman is Atma. Nirnaya Karanam Shrautam Darshayan. So what is Nirnaya Karanam? How to arrive at Nirnaya? The right conclusion, right conviction? Shrautam Karanam Darshayan. The reasoning is Karanam, all right. Reasoning means the Tarka is there. But Shrautam Karanam Darshan. So Shruti itself, in fact, is what reveals that non-duality alone can be true. Then reasoning also is there. But Shrautam Karanam Darshan Vakya Vishamartham Spashtayate. So this Vakya Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, those Vakya, Visham, whether that Vakya reveals the duality of Atma and Brahman, reveals the non-duality. That meaning, Spashtayati, is clarified in the first verse. So let us read that verse here. Ishvaraschetanaatma syat nasavasmiti dharayet आत्मा चेदीश्वरोऽस्मीति विद्या सान्यनिवर्तिका. ईश्वरः चेत् अनात्मा स्यात्. ईश्वरः जगत, व्हाट इज जगत कारणम ईश्वरः उपलक्षितः. यतो वा इमानि भूतानि जायन्ते, दैट्स हाउ ब्रह्मन इज प्रेजेंटेड एज जगत कारणम बाय तटस्थ लक्षणम उपलक्षण परमात्मा. सो व्हाट इज इन फैक्ट इंडिकेटेड देयर is satyam jnanamanandam brahma. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, that from which all the beings are born, by which they are sustained, etc. What is the ultimate meaning? That Brahman is Jagat, is present as Jagat Karanam. What is the true nature of Brahman? Satyam Jnanamanandam Brahma. So Paramatma Satya Jnana Anantananda Rupa hai. You know the word Ishvara is used. Jagat Karanam is presented. Ishvara is present. Jagat Karanam. But Jagat Karanatma is not the primary meaning of the word Brahman. It is the Satyam Jnanamanandam. Sachit Atmabhinno Syat. That Ishvara, the so-called Jagat Karanam, of which the Lakshyartha. So Jagat Karanam is the Tatastha Lakshanam. Of which Swarupa Lakshanam is what? Satyam Jnanamanandam Brahma. Sachet Atmabhindu. So what is the Upanishad teaching? That Brahman is Satyam Jnanamanandam. That's the first thing. Ishvara means Brahman, means Satyam Jnanamanandam. Sachet Atmabhinna Syat. If that Brahman, Satyam Jnanamanandam were different from Atma, what is Bhinnam? Mirvadevat Vishayabhuta Paroksho Vasyat. Other Pratyaksha, like Meru, etc. So, he is an object of my perception or something that is remote, unknown to me. So, what is different from me can be Pratyaksha or Paroksha. Pratyaksha, the object of perception of senses, or which is beyond the range of senses. Tada aso Ishvara ahamasmiti mukshu na dharet. Then this knowledge that I am Brahman can never take place. Meru is something which is Pratyaksha, which is what is objectified by me. So that I am Meru, that knowledge can never take place. That, So if Meru is Paroksha, then also the Aham Buddhi cannot take place about Pratyaksha or Paroksha. Then Atmanam Tattvato na Pratipadyet. In that case, he would never know Atma in its true nature, that is Brahman. Tata Tattvasyadi Vachana Virodasyat. Then he would know Atma is different from Brahman. Brahman is like Meru, object of knowledge. So Aham Buddhi cannot take place. Aham Buddhi can take place anywhere else, not in Brahman. In that case, Tattvamasyaadi Vachana Virodasyat. If Brahman is taken to be different from Atma, then that would contradict this Mahavakya, you are Brahman or Aham Brahmasmi. But what is the conclusion? Atmeti upagacchati grahayanti cheti nyaya virodasya syad ityartha. Now, you don't need a Brahma Sutra to say that, but anyway, this is with reference to Upasana actually. Atma iti upagacchati. Upanishad upagacchati. They acknowledge that Atma is Brahman. In the Upasana also, that hey Devata, you are I am you, etc. Grahayanti cha. And then, by Tattvamasi, they enable me to see also that I am Brahman. So this is how Brahma Sutra has concluded. From the study of all the Upanishads. The Upanishads, they first of all accept that Atma, Brahma is Atma. So first of all enable me to arrive at understanding that Brahman is Atma, and then make me see that also. Upagacchati and grahayanti. So Upanishad first created in me this understanding that Atma is Brahman, and grahayanti, then they cause me to grasp or gain that knowledge also. So not that Upanishad simply say Atma is Brahman. Upanishad make me see that I am Brahman. Iti nyaya virodascha. So if Brahman was different from Atma, it would contradict the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, etc. and would also contradict this conclusion arrived at in the Brahma Sutra. Then this is the first line. Atma chet Ishwarosmiti. But Ishvara was Atma, then everything would be in order. Ishvareva ahamasmiti na anyeti chet dharayed. On the other hand, if the mumukshu recognize that I am Brahman, not different from Brahman, then tada shruti nyaya viroda nashtaya. Then shruti tattvamasi also will be in order. And this nyaya atma upagacchati, both of them there will be a harmony or a concurrence between my knowledge and what the shruti says, what the yukti says. With that, my anubhava also will have concurrence. So shruti and yukti reveal the identity of Atma and Brahman. And if only I know Brahman is Atma, then alone there will be a compatible concurrence between the Shruti, Yukti and Anubhava. Sa vidya anya nivartika. That vidya aham brahmasmi. Anya means anyasyaha nivartika. That knowledge of which Brahmatma Aikya is the subject matter, that will eliminate the ignorance of the nature of difference from Brahma. Avidya nivartika samula samsara nivartika ityartha. Then this notion that Ishvara is different from me, Jagat is different from me, I am limited with upadhi, all that samsara will be eliminated when I recognize that I am one non-dual Brahman, which is self of all. Brahma Veda Brahmayo Bhavati says the knower of Brahman becomes Brahma. Brahma Yasanna Brahma Pyete. He is already Brahman, therefore he sees that he is Brahman, he attains Brahman. Ityadi Shruto Brahma Jnanasya Brahma Bala Shravanad. These Shrutis clearly say that the knowledge of Brahman makes you become Brahman. Knowledge of 10th man makes you become 10th man because you already are. So you already are Brahman, take yourself to be different from Brahman, therefore Shruti reveals what is. It doesn't make you Brahman. Shastra does not make you Brahman. Doesn't make Atma Brahman. Atma is already Brahman. You are Brahman. For whatever reasons called ignorance, you take yourself to be different from Brahman. And therefore, ignorance has caused that notion of separation from Brahman, and that ignorance is anya nivartika. Anya means here ignorance. This knowledge dispels ignorance. Otherwise, when it says Brahma Veda Brahmayo Bhavati, the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. If Atma and Brahma were different, this statement cannot apply. Atma is different and Brahma is different. Atma becomes Brahman. If two are different, then either Atma becomes Brahman, so Atma doesn't remain, or Atma becomes Brahman, Brahman doesn't remain. If two entities become one, then one of them has to go away. So if Atma and Brahma are different from each other, and by virtue of knowledge Atma and Brahma become one, two become one, then what is? Then either Atma is gone or Brahman is gone. Anyatva sthitasya nashtasya va anyasya nibhavanu. Therefore, Atma goes away and Brahma remains, and also Atma has not become Brahma. and Brahman goes away, Atma remains, then also Atma has not become Brahman because one is not there. Therefore, Aikya Jnanam Phalavadi, therefore, only one Aikya, Atma is Brahman, and is thought to be different. That the only notion goes away, and the knowledge of self being Brahman takes place. Phalavat iti tatraiva, then that alone removes the notion of duality and samsara born of that. And that alone is the phalavat, meaning it gives rise to the result of a removal of samsara, dukkha nivrutti and sukha prapti. Tatraiva. So, if Atma were different, then it would not serve any purpose. If Atma is different from Brahman, then if that is the knowledge that I am different from Brahman, then number one, it would contradict what the Shruti says, what the Yukti says, and Shruti says that the knower of Brahman becomes Brahma, which also cannot be. But becoming Brahma is the phalam. To become Brahman, to become limitless is the phalam. But I cannot become because I am no more there. So limitlessness also cannot be. And the phalam also cannot be. And therefore nothing would make sense if Atma and Brahman are different. Therefore, Tatriva Shastra Tatparyam na bhede. Therefore, only Tatparya, the purport of Shastra, can be in the non-duality of Atma and Brahman and not in the duality. So, a Tatparya Nirnaya is being done. What is Tatparya? What is the purport of the Shastra? Is Shastra teaching the duality of Atma and Brahman, or is teaching the non-duality of Atma and Brahman? So, statements of Shastra are taken and arrive at the conclusion that Shastra has its Tatparya only in revealing the non-duality of Atma and Brahman, because then only there will be compatibility of what the Shastra says, what the Yukti says, what the Anubhava says, that knowledge will be phalavat, will do what you want, become free from samsara, free from limitation. Otherwise you will never be with the duality. Tad jnanasya phalatvad. And if the knowledge is Brahman is different, I am different, then anyosu, anyomasmi nasaveda, that knowledge of duality is declared as ignorance by the Upanishad itself. Iti Vedarshan ninditatvad. Vedarshan is condemned. Veda Sudyastu anadi avidyakala Veda anuvada partvad. Then why does this say? Because Veda is something that is a notion from the time beginning because of ignorance. So, when there is statement Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya, thing is there are statements in the Upanishad which seem to suggest the duality between Atma and Brahman. And there are statements in the Upanishad which reveal the non-duality also. So what should be the truth? Conclusion is that the statements which reveal the duality is only anuvada. Is only reiterating what I think right now, what my present notion is, which is born of ignorance, which is beginningless, which has no reason, it is there. So wherever the Upanishad talk about the duality is anuvada, reiteration, restatement of what I think it is, to falsify that and then reveal the true nature of the reality. Naswarthi tatparyam. That means this statement Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya and similar statements where Shruti seems to talk about the duality of Atma and Brahman, they have no tatparya in swartha, meaning they should not take them literally. Their anuvada means reiterating, restating what is already known through other means of knowledge. So you already know that I am not Brahman is something known to you. From your experience of time beginningless. So when Shruti says you are different from Brahman, nothing new is stated. You are different from Brahman. So when that means it is only saying what I already know. So that's why it's anuvada. You are Brahman is something I do not know. So then that is the Pramana Vakya. So all the Vakyas which seem to suggest the duality, they don't have Swartha Pramanyam, they don't have Pramanya, the validity in the direct meaning, they do not mean literally what they say. They only have pramanyam by way of supporting the non-duality. Say, hey, this is what you think, but this is not right. And then there is ninda also of this duality. If the Tatparya was in duality, then there cannot be any condemnation of duality. Therefore, Upanishads don't have Tatparya in duality, Tatparya is in non-duality, and that alone is the true knowledge. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.